Hey everybody, I just wanted to take a minute to introduce myself. My name's Kimberly and I've been doing digital marketing, web design, and search engine optimization for quite a few years now. And I wanted to share some of my SEO tactics with you because that's one of the most common questions that I get when people call me asking how they can improve their website. Is that how do I show up on Google or page one rankings on Google? So I'm going to cover some of those tips with you, so feel free to chat me any questions as I go. If I'm talking about stuff that you have no idea about, just chat it in there and I'll go ahead and address it. I'm going to jump right in. The first thing that you want to do is take advantage of the free keyword planner tool from Google, and this is embedded in Google AdWords. So you just go to Google AdWords. If you don't have an account, you can set one up really easy. You just need a Gmail address, and when you're in there, you'll hit on tools and you'll see something called the keyword planner. So what you can do in there is you can enter your actual website and then keywords that you would like to show up for. And then when you do that, Google will spit out a bunch of results for you, and you can target it based on your location, based on the language that you want people to speak. So, if you're US based only in Florida and you wouldn't be able to service anyone else outside of Florida, you would go ahead and do that. And then it will spit out monthly search data for you. So what that number that you see there is actually how many people on average search for that key term each month. So for example, I do digital marketing. So I would want to show up for digital marketing, and let's say that Google shows me that gets 250 average monthly searches, but something like social media marketing gets 550 or 590, whatever, then I would rather rank for that word, obviously, because it's going to reach more people. So you can use that data to generate a keyword list of your choosing based on the Google data. You can just add them to your keyword list and then download it as an Excel file to refer back to when you're going to go into the next steps I'm going to follow with you to optimize your content. So use the keyword planning tool, get your list of keywords, all the iterations you can think of. So digital marketing, social media marketing, online marketing, just to give you guys a few examples. And then when you have that keyword list, you can prioritize which words you want to rank for the most. So obviously the search volume traffic is typically going to dictate which words you want to rank for. So once you have that, what you want to do is create specific web pages that are targeted to that keyword. So if you try to just force a keyword into a web page that really has nothing to do with it, you're not going to get the kind of results that you want. Oh, I got a question coming through. Are there search results people find at all area-based by any kind of zip code, city, state, etc., or is it universal? And the keyword planning tool, you can dictate that when you're doing your search results. You can dictate location by city, state, or you can just do global. If you don't want to do just city or state, you can leave it blank and it will do global. And like I said, you can also filter it by language and things like that. So once you've got your keywords selected, you're going to start to create specific web pages, and you probably already have them. If you're service-based, you probably already have a web page that covers the different services that you offer. If you're retail-based, then you probably have web pages that cover the different products that you sell. So you just kind of want to tweak those pages so that they're very specific to the keywords that you're trying to rank for. And you also can create blog posts specific to the keywords that you're trying to rank for. And those are the easiest thing to really keyword optimize. But what goes into keyword optimization is actually creating the proper metadata. And what that is just like a fancy term for website back-end content. So, when you're browsing online, you're used to seeing like in your little tab on your Google Chrome or Safari or whatever, a page title. So someone somewhere is telling Google what that page is titled. That's metadata. The other thing that you might be used to seeing on Google search results is a page description. And that's like, when it shows up on Google, you'll see the page title and then you'll see a little excerpt, a page description describing what content it is. And that's what helps consumers decide if they're going to click on a link or not. So you can actually tell Google what information you want to show up in their search results, and that's what metadata is. Metadata, I'm getting a question. So metadata is totally different from search engine optimization. Metadata is what you create to rank on search engine. So it's part of search engine optimization best practices. So metadata would be creating a page title and a page description. And there's some limitations and things that you should keep in mind when you're doing that. So for example, the home page of your website, most people just typically leave it titled home. So let's say my website, kpcreative.com, instead of titling it home for my page title for my search engine rankings, I would title it KP Creative digital marketing for small businesses, or digital marketing, search engine optimization, and web design. But you're limited with the character count. So you want to keep your page title within 64 characters, not 64 words, 64 characters. And the reason for that is because if it goes beyond that, it will get cut off. So you'll just see a ... when it displays on Google search results. And you obviously don't want that to happen. So you got to keep it within 64 characters. And you also want it, think of article titles, newspaper headlines, or when you're reading articles online, you want to keep it sort of as like a noun phrase and something that's going to hook people in. Does keyword optimization require any payment to show up on searches, or do you just pay to get your post closer to the first few pages? There's organic ranking and there's paid ranking. What I'm covering should help with your organic ranking, but that's Google AdWords. You can use Google AdWords to pay to show up in the first 2 or 3 slots or in that side panel on Google based on keyword searches as well. And you are still going to want to fill out the proper metadata for Google AdWords paid or organic search results, because either way, that's the data that's displayed when your stuff shows up. So for the page title, again, 64 characters, and noun phrases typically work better. Just as an example, like I had said, digital marketing, search engine optimization for small businesses, as opposed to KP Creative does digital marketing and search engine optimization for small businesses, because that does is not needed there, and it takes up more characters that I could use to fit in more keywords. So then for your page description, you want to keep that within 150 characters, again, to stop it from getting cut off. But there you at least have a little bit more room to really kind of give consumers an idea of what type of content is on your page. And you should just, again, look at that keyword list that you make on the Google Keyword Planner tool and just fill it with keywords. And the order does matter. So the higher up your keyword is in your page description, the more chance you have of actually ranking for it. And same thing in the page title. You want to get right into whatever the keyword is, as opposed to having like adjectives and things like that before it. So then the next step to really improve your ranking is to actually get those keywords into the content on your web pages. And you don't want to keyword stuff, and that's what that is actually, hold on, one more question. So basically the keywords you choose to represent your website are pretty similar to hashtags you choose for your posts as well. Yeah, your hashtag should also be keyworded. It's very similar to hashtags on social media. So you want to sprinkle those keywords into your body copy, and you could just sit there and, every paragraph or every other sentence, for example, say digital marketing this and digital marketing that and digital marketing blah, 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 and really fill up your web page with that. But that's called keyword stuffing, and there are protocols in place to make sure that you're not just doing that, and that will actually affect your ranking in a negative way. So you want to have a light hand. Just imagine you're like sprinkling some salt on your meal. You don't want to have too much. Just sprinkle those keywords through your website copy and do it in a way that makes sense. Don't just place words in there just to have them in there. Really make sure that it's content that is cohesive and that would make sense to the consumer. And that really kind of helps to improve your ranking. And then once you've done all of that, if you haven't already set up a Google Webmasters account, and this might not be something for you to do if you have a web design person or a web person, IT person, just make sure that they have a webmaster account set up with Google, because you can submit what's called a sitemap. So once you've keyworded your site, you can generate, it's a .xml file, which is kind of technical, but it's really easy. There's steps that you can do to walk through this to generate a sitemap, and you submit it to Google. So instead of waiting for Google to find your website, crawl your website, collect all the data of your website so that they can spit it out in search results, you submit the sitemap to them so that they just crawl it and they already have all your pages indexed, so that when people start to search for stuff, they can display your information back out. So you're basically saying, hey, Google, I'm ready for you, and then they come to you and spit everything out. So that pretty much covers it. If anybody else has any questions, shoot them in here. Those are some really good questions that I got asked so far, but that was like SEO 101 right there. Another one, is it a good idea to try and be unique with more specific search terms, or should you stick with more generic, popular keywords? That's a really good question. So you should definitely do it based on the consumer. So obviously the idea or the goal would be to go for the more generic and popular ones. But if you're offering really specific products or services, then you should go with the lower search volume that's more related to what you do. Because likely, and that's actually something that shows up in the keyword tool, there's a competition tab in there that shows you how many other people are trying to rank for that same keyword. So those generic key terms usually have more competition because more and more people are sitting there and trying to rank for that content. Any other questions? If another company is dominating a group of keywords, should you abandon trying to rank for them and go a different route, or keep at it? If you're noticing that you're trying for keywords and you're just having no success with it when you're keeping track of your analytics, I would recommend doing an ad if you don't already have one running. So that's when Google AdWords comes in handy. So you can really just kind of rank for that keyword if you're adamant about it. But if there are other keywords that you can go for, then I would give that a try as well, because the competition can get pretty high sometimes. Any other questions, guys? Okay, I think that does it. I'll be posting this live stream on my page, so if anybody has any questions after the fact, just feel free to reach out to me at Kimberly at kpcreative.com. Thanks, guys.